Over to you, Moira.
Thank you. Lovely to see all your faces. If you can pop into the chat a couple of words like where you're from and perhaps why you're here. So I'm just going to do that right now. And I'm here to help us have fun together. Okay. And you would have got a little instruction at the beginning about changing your name. Jessie popped that up on the slide just to know who you are and where you're from. And if you're an activator, putting an A in front of your name, your country. If you're a chief or a guest, we would love to welcome you all in. So my name is Moira Weir, and I'm here on Kaurna country in South Australia. So if you do know the map of Australia, we're the bit at the bottom where the bite's been taken out. I just live there. And I'm really thrilled that we could all be here together. And thanks for joining us. So let's begin with, I'm going to pass over to Amal, and she's going to give us a land acknowledgement.
Thank you. My name is Amal, and I am joining you as uninvited guest on the unceded and traditional territories of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Peoples Nation here in Ottawa, Canada. I'm joining you from a small Airbnb here. I'm here just temporarily. I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia. I moved to Canada back in 2013, and I was still fully covered head to toes. I lived in the Okanagan land, on the Syilx people's lands and waters, where I was held to do deep healing and transformation, to undo the physiological signature of the patriarchy and recognize the years and thousands of years in my body and others where I've been denied the safety and the dignity and sovereignty. I stand here and I acknowledge that I am on the unceded territories. Those lands are taken from the Indigenous peoples without their consent. I recognize that in my stand today, for women to reclaim their sexual power, to reclaim their power from religious, political, and societal oppression, I acknowledge the violence against this land. I acknowledge the violence that Indigenous women in particular face more than other women on this land. It's such a privilege to be here. It's such an honor to be here. It's such a beautiful space to be able to choose our own community. I stand for the change that we're making here at SheEO. And I learned to introduce myself from one of the learning circles here at SheEO with Echo Alec. It's called Rooted in Your Protocol, Rooted in Your Story, and other parts of it. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you enjoy this evening or day.
Thank you so much, Amal. And I'm wondering if we can all just acknowledge your contribution to us with a little emoji, perhaps, and how we're feeling about hearing from you and just receiving you into our lives. And on behalf of everyone, being able to acknowledge the land that we're on. I'm here on Kaurna country in South Australia. I live quite close to a place called Widawali, which is a wetland that was known in English as Possum Place. So it was a place where communities would gather and be a great place for ceremony and a huge food bowl. So you can still see plenty of wonderful kangaroo and bird life, and just by the beach too, where plenty of fishing still gets done to these days. And we like to acknowledge that elders past, present and emerging, and this too is land that's unceded. And I long for the day for a just settlement, which I hope will be coming soon. So thank you all for joining us today for this global activation call. So we do have people from all over the place, all over the planet, and it's wonderful to be able to celebrate this time that we're going to share together. So a little bit of information about what we're going to do. We're going to have a chance for people to meet one another, and that's always got a special piece of magic attached to it. We'll have, I'm going to talk a little bit about SheEO and what it means to me and what I've been noticing in it in the last few years. We'll hear from Leanne Sanders, who is one of the Australian activators this year, with her business and what she's got planned and how it came into being. We'll have practice to ask and give one another, which is one of the key ingredients for SheEO. And we'll hear from Vanessa Hall as well as we close out and give a little reflection, which is great because I've just met Vanessa, so I'm thrilled. She's in Texas. So here we are, big countries, big, wide places to look at on the land, and also big skies to celebrate and work and live and play under. So we're going to start this next little section with a bit of a, maybe might say giddy up in if we were in Texas, a great 2-minute video just to have a taste of what SheEO is all about. So over to you, Nat.
Six years ago, 500 women stepped in and followed the dream.
This is really a global network of change.
I want to build a legacy. You can't do that alone.
It gave us a vehicle to make the change that we wanted to see.
You know, I found my people, right?
SheEO had to be created as a community because all of those other systems failed. And so the honesty around how really hard it is has been refreshing and inspiring.
They are serious when they say that they are interested and invested wholly on the well-being of entrepreneurs who are literally taking care of the world's to-do list.
If you need something for your business, please ask for it. This is your space, this is your time.
It didn't feel like closed doors anymore. It just felt like the more I asked, the more doors that opened.
We had the support we needed to finally believe in ourselves and grow.
I always knew that there was a different way to do business.
SheEO has put us on the radar for the federal government. Now we've just received over $500,000.
It's because of that group that I felt safe enough, that I felt strong enough to root down and to stand up and to ask for what I need.
We need your voices because our world is stuttering, and we need your wisdom and knowledge and your feistiness.
At SheEO, we often talk about how transforming systems start with transforming ourselves. And I do think that this work, this personal work that's often extremely uncomfortable, is really where we need to start.
And if you need a kick in the butt, dream it, design it, quit screwing around, and just do it.
We believe here at SheEO that everyone has something to give and contribute, no matter what age or stage you're at.
All of my dreams are coming true that I've been dreaming for a long, long time.
Thanks so much. And Stephanie, you're here today who helped make that. So a big shout out and a round of applause for your incredible contribution. Really sincerely appreciate it, and know that this is a great resource that we can all use and share with others. So thank you. Thank you from all of us. So we're going to be going into some breakouts shortly, and what breakout rooms are an opportunity for just a one-on-one, a little connection, and you can have your stories and sharing together, because we believe that connection and partnerships and anything that builds together to grow something is what really works. So these breakout rooms are a great opportunity, and to give you a chance to get to know someone in the community, perhaps find an activator or a venture. These things are done randomly, and then all of a sudden you think, oh my God, this is exactly the person I needed to speak to today, the person I needed to meet. So we'll be moving into that shortly, and you'll have a chance to connect. Are we going to do one quick one now, Jessie? Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to start off with a really quick 5-minute session for you to meet one other person. They might be a current SheEO activator, they might be a guest. This is a great time to just say hello, introduce yourself, get a chance to meet another human being and make a connection. So it'll
be fun.
It'll be so fun. We're going to send you off. You'll be in your room for about 5 minutes. If you end up alone, give me a quick moment and I'll find you a buddy. Enjoy.
begin. Oh.
Welcome back, everyone.
Thanks, Nat. I hope you had an opportunity to meet a new person or reconnect with someone. And don't forget to exchange your details as well. You can definitely do that in the chat on the one-on-one in the participants, or in any other way that you'd like to do that. Although I do find telepathy a little challenging, so please put it down if you can. That does help. Vicky can't be with us today, so she's asked me to say a few words about SheEO from my perspective, and it's a great honour and privilege to be able to do that. I often find that I'm in a facilitating role and don't actually say some of the things that are important from my point of view. Really keen to hear what others think. So thanks for the opportunity, Nat, and inviting me and to do this today. So I wanted you to kind of do a little imagination with me. So I want you to imagine a world where everyone has what they need. Or imagine a world where the planet is healed and regenerating. Imagine a world where trust is the currency. Imagine a world where there is space to be held and to hold. Imagine a world where you're celebrated for your unique and valuable contribution. And this is the world that's not only in our imagination, it's actually in our hands and in our hearts. And it's SheEO.world. It's the world we are making together. It's a world where Adventure in Aotearoa, New Zealand produces a product that cleans the oceans as it decomposes. It's a world where an entire circular economy precinct just outside Meanjin in Brisbane in Queensland is created, and where the venture and the partnerships that have made that happen first were founded in SheEO. It's a world where we're running fast as we possibly can towards the future. We're being inspired by our elders like Rianne Eisler, reminding us that the future is founded on relationships and on partnerships. It's a world where a SheEO venture, Farm in a Box that's led by Brandy DeCarli, can actually be talking to COP, being in New York at the New York Times Climate Hub and contributing to those vital conversations about climate change. It's a world where a dairy business connects and empowers and enlightens everyone in the agricultural system, from the cow right through to the consumer. It's a world in the UK where a catering social enterprise is actually providing work experience and access to housing deposits for people who are living in temporary accommodation. There are worlds within worlds at SheEO, and they are worlds of connections, worlds of partnerships, worlds of potential, and worlds of genuine love. Last week in Tandanya, Adelaide, one of the Australian ventures from this year, Minka Park's Kimchi Club, she talked about her experience of becoming a venture and how it wasn't the money that has made the difference to her already. It was the undivided attention of SheEO, and in particular MJ as her guide, to every single week being able to have a conversation, to be heard, to be seen, to be supported. And she said, with tears in her eyes, and we all had a lump in our throat hearing it, that she now felt she had sisters. SheEO is working at the edges because that's where the traction happens. Traction doesn't happen in the middle, it actually happens at the edges. And for women and non-binary people have always been at the edges of patriarchy and colonisation. And this is, as you heard earlier, this is transformational work. It's the inner work and the outer work that we do together. We change ourselves and we change the systems. And in changing the systems, we change ourselves. So we're building the culture that we actually want to see in the world, and in do it, transforming ourselves along the way. This approach isn't just a good, feel, happy, kumbaya thing. This is also about the numbers. And I see that Nat's put into the chat our impact report from last year. And it is an economic imperative that we do this work. This isn't an optional extra as we strive to meet the future. On an average, for example, SheEO Ventures employ 5 part-time and 7 full-time employees. And despite the pandemic last year, most of our ventures actually grew 65% on average, which is quite extraordinary in the most difficult circumstances. So we know that radical generosity isn't just a feel-good thing, it also has an economic benefit. We also know that sympathetic joy, where we celebrate our good times and also see the best in each other, the good in each other, even in those tough times. We know that gratitude and celebrating the asset is our default position. These things all make a difference: gratitude, sympathetic joy, radical generosity. The incredible giftedness and precision at the right support, the right question, the right opportunity, the right door that gets open, the right person you get stuck in and not get us stuck. It's a beautiful glue binding moment in a one-on-one breakout. These are all the things that ourselves to our souls and also absolutely help us do the work. It's the exercise that we need to be fit enough to face the future together and to make the future together. So I could talk about SheEO for a long, long time, but it's not a talk fest, it's an immersive experience. And so for those of you who have not yet had the chance to have that experience, that's what today is a bit about. It is a global activation call, and I really hope that you all have that chance to have an experience today. And in that experience, dip into some of the other things that are already available to you. So the podcasts are on the website. We've got interviews, there's Mindful Mondays with MJ. There are so many resources that are already in the public domain. So if you want to have a little taste of SheEO, please do that. But if you want to have more of a meal and test and receive the abundance that we can provide in this community, this is where you take the step. We'd love to see you here, and I hope that you come in if you aren't already. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm really hoping that we can have a lot of fun for the next part of today as well. And I have huge pleasure in introducing you to Leanne. So Leanne's from one of the Australian ventures this year, Visual Dreaming. She's got a powerful story of really connecting the personal and the public and doing the transformational work inside and out. As I said, a beautiful example of a SheEO venture. And I always like to say that in the ventures, it's not a voting activity of voting up the most favorite thing that we like. It's not that kind of a competition. What it is that we select, the SheEO community selects the 5 ventures in their own countries that best reflects the issues and values that are facing us right now at this time. And so in Australia, a lot of that's around Indigenous wellbeing. And so I'm thrilled to say that we can welcome in Leanne as one of our ventures for this year. So Leanne, over to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I just feel so privileged even just to be here and talk about our journey. You can hear the rain in the background, which is just so cleansing. But I'm one of 15, so I have 15 brothers and sisters and First Nation parents on my mum and my dad's side. And both families are so very different. One's very culturally strong, and on the other side, there's a lot of loss of culture and disconnection. I've had a lot of my mob being institutionalized with a lot of trauma and intergenerational trauma. And so I worked in mental health and got really frustrated with just constantly working in crisis and not being able to help people the way they need to be helped. And 4 years ago, I lost my young cousin to mental health, and that was the time that I felt like we really needed to change the way that we support young people, and not just looking at it from a mental health and a clinical perspective, but as a cultural way as well. And so I'm really lucky to have Wiradjuri elders and community just championing me all the way, and most of all believing in me. And yeah, and I've Julie Trell, you've just been amazing. I was introduced to you and then joined as an activator, and I just feel like I'm no longer alone. I struggle with the business model and how you're going to make money when it's something that's so close to my heart that it's not about the money, it's about the social change for our First Nation youth. So when I got the call that I did not think we would even make to the finals, or an adventure, but I remember we've had so many no's because we aren't the standard business model. And I just remember when I got that call and I cried all day. I cried that I didn't give up on Dallas and what I wanted to do, and cried that it was just beyond anything I could ever imagine. And just the community, like, it's not just about the business support, but it's also it's an emotional journey. And to have sisters as part of my dream team now, that also help me be really spiritually strong, so I can make the changes that I want to make. So, yeah, I still feels like a dream for me.
Thanks, Leanne. We're dreaming with you. And we're dreaming the whole visual dreaming into being for the whole world. And just so honoured that you've brought that to SheEO, to this community, so that we can do it together. We can definitely do it together. If you're in the chat, you've got the link to Leanne's work, Visual Dreaming. And as she said, she really is part of a big community and a sisterhood. And Widgery Mob right behind her as well. So we're really thrilled to have all of that behind Leanne, and looking forward to keeping that close to our hearts and to the changes she's going to be making in the world. Feels like just need to take that big deep breath in and feel the rain coming down and washing away and cleansing and healing all of us. So thank you so much, Leanne. We're going to now have some practice in our Ask and Give. So for those of you who this is new for, Ask and Give is a muscle that we'd like to practice using. We're often very good at giving and not so good at asking. So this is a chance. We've got 2 questions to help you with these. So the ask will be, what's stopping you from doing your good work at the moment? And, you know, what support have you got? So this is the give. What support have you got that you can share? So we're going to be together for about, how long have we got in here?
18 minutes.
18 minutes. Yes, I know. I'm just clicking it down. We're going to go into pairs, into a smaller group actually, and there'll be groups. I think there's about 5 groups, 4 or 5 groups. So if you're brand new here together today, you get the opportunity of not having to worry about it. You'll be supported and guided through that. Jessie will be with you. So it'll be a real chance to get to know one another as well. So I'll see you on the other side, as we say. And Nat, over to you for the Zooming magic.
Off for your Zoom magic. Enjoy. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nat, for getting us into such interesting groups. I'm sure you all had as much fun as we did. I forgot to ask you something, though, before you went, and that was to come back with like a 3-word message from your conversation, you know, like save the whales, or just do it, or be the change. So I'm going to ask you that if you could summarize your conversation that you just had and had a 3-word sort of slogan, pop it into the chat so that we can help each other. That's fabulous. That's one. We broke the rules. That's not bad. Better world, gratitude, more of us. Loving all of these. That's wonderful. Thank you. So if you keep thinking of some more, pleasure-based leadership. Yeah, we really like that one in the group that I was a part of. So if you've got so many more, please pop them in. Raw, real, and relatable. Now that's 3 kind of R's I think we can all sign up into. That's fabulous. Thank you, everyone. I really hope that you had an opportunity to exchange your details with one another. And if you haven't, pop them into the chat now so that you can gather them further along the way. Sissy's 3 words, connections, connections, connections. Wonderful work, everyone. Thank you so much for being such good listeners to one another, as well as asking and giving and practicing those 2 questions, which can stay with you. you know, what's getting in the way of you doing your best work, and what can you share? So let's just celebrate that for a moment, and maybe put an emoji up to recognize how well we've all been connected today, and how that felt being in the one-on-one, in the small group breakout rooms. I'm going to hand over now to Vanessa, who I've had a chance to get to know a little bit today. And Vanessa's going to share a little bit about what it's been like for her as an activator in the US. So over to you, Vanessa.
Good evening, ladies. Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. I am just elated. It's a great word, and excited to be a part of this SheEO community. I am a first-year activator. PNC selected me to represent North Texas. I cannot say enough about this dynamic organization, the network, the togetherness, the support, the encouragement, the engagement. Just words of victory reside in this organization of women-owned and non-binary owned business owners and people that are reaching out to make a difference. We're talking to one person in a breakout about actually getting to the root of things. That's what I see in SheEO. I've loved the sessions by MJ, Mindset. That's powerful. And then Vicki Saunders has even come in to talk to us, the founder, about how she feels. I can feel her love in this venture, and it speaks to how we as women must take our vision into reality. Because think if Vicki would have sat and not realized her vision, the world of women behind her would not be here. We would not be solving the world's to-do list. So that's what I get from being an activator, that level, set, footing, grounded authenticity of a network of powerful women in their own right that are there to support. I, first year, have received so much support from this SheEO community already. It's just phenomenal. The process of voting, I'm so impressed. I'm a STEM technology professional, and I was so impressed by the tools that are available in this network. The voting process was so user-friendly. It was so engaging to read those phenomenal applications of women around the world who are just doing it. I mean, they are just doing it. These women are on top of their game. Getting an opportunity to read those, to vote, and then to have the opportunity as a first-year activator to make that call to one of the semifinalists and hear her on the other end of the phone. She cried, she rejoiced, she said, thank you. And then she touched my spirit, the core of me, when she said, you know what? If I'm not selected as a finalist, I am okay. The network is worth $1 million. And I was smiling from ear to ear because I felt that in her spirit, that she meant that the network meant so much. So this community is such a valuable place. I'm so excited to be introduced to this community. I'm grateful to PNC for selecting me. And I'm just forever indebted to what they provided to me in my business already. I work for PNC, but I have my own company. And it's helped me to think about my brand. It's helped me to get level. People have met with me. I've got meetings scheduled for next week. So this activator role is dynamite. I just recommend it to anybody on this call if you're looking for a place for support, a place to give, because the gift is truly the gift of giving. And then you receive. But the true gift is the gift of giving. And this SheEO world allows us to do that as women, give to each other, and then the results we receive. So that is the blessing of SheEO. So thank you for allowing me to share today.
Thanks, Vanessa. And we really, really feel the gift that you gave back to us in all of that. It's so, it's so critical, the radical generosity, and it just shows up in every part of the system that we are making together. And a fantastic explanation of what that's meant for you in your life, Vanessa, just in this first year. I can't wait to see what happens next with your activation and all the work that you're doing in your part of the world too. And you got a hint there from Vanessa about how some of the activators come in. They come in through our partnerships and our relationships with all sorts of institutions and organizations. So maybe that's something for you as well. And if it is, please let us know. You can contact any of the SheEO team and or Vicky directly, and they'll be really happy to hear about some of your ideas for partnerships as well. So we are going to do, Jessie is on standby, I am sure, for her usual activities at the end of these global calls of photographs and surveys. So over to you, Jessie.
Thank you, Moira. Vanessa, that was so special. There's nothing much left for me to say. So thank you so much. And not only is this Vanessa's first year as an activator, but I believe only first month or two already have gotten so much value out of the community. So just building on what Vanessa shared, I wanted to take a moment to highlight some of the core experiences that you can be part of if or when you decide to activate. So when you activate, you can have a welcome experience. You can either join a group welcome call or have a one-on-one call with another activator. Every week in the community, like Vanessa has referenced, we have community calls, learning circles, and events where we learn from MJ Ryan about shifting mindsets or from SheEO founder Vicky Saunders about systems change. All great opportunities to start meeting the others, building relationships, and getting support and offering our support, just like you had a chance to practice today in our breakout groups. As Vanessa mentioned, we have a voting, so all activators get to go online, review venture applications, and help decide who will advance to the next round and become SheEO Ventures. And throughout the year, there are lots of opportunities to get support, to connect, and to get to action on the world's to-do list, whether you'd like to participate in a working group, a venture deep dive, et cetera, et cetera. If you are interested in activating, it's very simple. Arden is going to drop the link in the chat now to activate. It is monthly payments of $92 or an annual payment of $1,100. And as soon as you activate, so as soon as you enter your name and your email, you will immediately be invited to start participating in the community, joining SheEO on Slack, exploring the teal print, joining calls and events like our gathering today. So with that being said, we would love to launch a quick poll to see for those who are interested in activating. So you'll see it pop up on your Zoom screen now. Let us know if you met folks on today's call you'd like to keep in touch with. Special shout out to my breakout group, all first-time guests to SheEO. And if you're interested, we'd love to hear, are you interested in applying to become a venture and or activating? And for those first-time guests or for those who are interested in activating, we have a volunteer group of activators called the Welcome Circle. And so if you'd like to have a chat with an existing activator, like the amazing Vanessa, to hear about their experience, let us know and we would be happy to set that up for you. So what else? We'd love to hear your feedback on today's call. So Arden's going to share the link in the chat now to share your feedback. And one other opportunity I'd like to highlight is that it's a link that Nat shared above. So just like Vanessa's part of the PNC activator cohort, we have another activator cohort opportunity with EDC Export Development Canada. So if you are a Canadian woman or non-binary entrepreneur and you're looking to grow your business globally, there's a special opportunity. The application is in the chat. So while all that's happening, the last thing is we would love to take a group photo. So I'm going to go onto gallery view, removing my spotlight here, and would love for those folks not on camera, if you'd like to join us. Oh, I'm seeing everyone turning them back on. Thank you so much. Would love to invite you to have a gesture, a heart, or throw your hands up for how we're feeling. And we will tag you all on LinkedIn tomorrow so you can all connect with each other as well and amplify this experience we shared in this last hour together. Alrighty, so on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, woo! Thank you so much, everyone. I will pass it back to you, Moira, to close us out.
Thanks, Jessie. And thanks everyone behind the team today, to Nat, to Jessie, to Arden. None of these things happen individually. It's community and partnership all the way from woe to go. So please look after yourselves and look after each other until we see one another again. All the very, very best from SheEO. Bye.
Bye-bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Bye.
Great session.
Bye, Julie. Bye, Hirsch.